Hi, everybody. Today I'm here with 5 board members from the organization Être, a resource and mentorship platform for girls in middle school and high school. And so we're going to start with each one of them introducing themselves, and then we are going to ask some questions so that parents who are listening can find out. I'd like to say what teenagers are thinking, but these 5 girls do not represent all teenagers, but they're going to tell us what they're thinking. Okay, so let's start with you guys introducing yourselves.
Hi, my name is Brielle Bautista. I recently just graduated high school and I will be an incoming freshman at Pace University. I'm from Jersey City, New Jersey, and I was an Etra TikTok intern over the summer.
Hi, I'm Olivia Rhea. I'm going to be a rising junior at IHA. I live in Upper Saddle River. A little bit about myself. I do track and field, and I started a small business over quarantine.
Hi, my name is Sachi Goyal. I'm a middle schooler, rising 8th grader at Newark Academy in New Jersey. I'm actually starting a sort of section on Etra's website. It's called Break Free from Stereotypes. During the quarantine, I did that.
Hi, my name is Jane Halpern. I'm a rising junior in Boca Raton, Florida, high schooler. And this summer I helped launch a free tutoring company called Core Teen Tutors.
Hi, I'm Chloe Bryan. I'm a student in New York City at Professional Children's School. I am an actress, singer, and dancer. I've worked on Broadway's School of Rock the Musical, and I've been performing at-home concerts during the COVID-19.
Okay, well, already I'm impressed with all of you. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, and then maybe we'll get back to some of the things that you said about your bio. But tell us first, during COVID, most of you stopped going to school in person in March, and here we are now, many months later, and a lot of schools are still closing down. What are you worried about?
In my family, a lot of my family members work in the medical field. So when the pandemic first hit, I was very concerned about the health of my family, since they do go out and risk their lives to take care of those who are sick, as well as taking care of my younger siblings, and balancing that with school and just trying to discipline with both. I think that it was just both pretty hard to cope with.
So were you responsible for the younger siblings?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a big burden.
I think I am, and I think a lot of people are really worried about mental health in this time. I think, especially in the beginning, it was a very big change, and change is really hard for a lot of people, I know, including myself. And I think that it was really hard to adapt and find a way where I was okay with being in quarantine and not being able to go out and see people and follow my usual daily routine. So I think that was a major concern and worry for me, my mental health, along with a lot of other people, friends, family.
And do you feel like you navigated it okay? You're in a good place?
Yeah, I feel like it was really hard in the beginning, March, April, but once started getting into the swing of things, and once summer came around, it started getting a lot easier.
I'm personally worried about definitely school. Zoom was kind of a shaky experience, I would say. I'm going into 8th grade, so it's sort of like the foundation for high school. So I'm just a little concerned about not being able to have learn as effectively as I could in person, and definitely having a rocky foundation in 9th grade. So just my education, I'm a little worried about.
And do you have any strategies, like now that you had a bad experience with Zoom, do you have any thoughts going into it in the fall about what you could kind of do?
Definitely communication, a little bit with your peers as well as your teachers, just discussing things a little bit more, even if it's in small groups instead of the big group as a class. You can get things done more efficiently.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm definitely anxious about going back to normal life after like 6 months in quarantine with not that much communication with the outside world. It's going to be different, and junior year is a very important year for college and the rest of my life. So I think that's going to be something to get used to once we do go back to school. So I'm definitely nervous about that, but.
Is your school, so you're in Florida, is your school supposed to be in person at this point?
No, not at this point.
So you're looking like at the time when schools open up, how awkward that's going to be.
I think that I'm most worried about, and I feel like a bunch of other kids or teenagers or like even young adults who are in the entertainment industry, about like when everything's gonna open back up, because you know like casting directors have been going around it because like self tapes and stuff, so you can audition virtually with like voice overs and stuff like that. And I feel like, as someone who is also on Broadway, it's really scary because like, when is Broadway gonna be back on? When when am I gonna like get on stage or anything like that? It's yeah, I find myself like worrying about that sometimes.
And are you finding a way to nourish your creative side while you're on quarantine?
Definitely. Doing like the at-home performances really helps, and connecting with some of my Broadway friends and stuff like that, who are doing all these like amazing things online to keep the ball rolling on creativity and stuff like that. And it's great because I got instruments at home, I got a mic, I can sing, I can I can do whatever, and still be happy.
So Chloe, Brian, I'm gonna look you up afterwards. I want to watch one of your performances online. So it's interesting because this notion of reentry after all this time, depending on where you live, you may have already had the opportunity to get together, socially distance outside or whatever. For those of you who have gotten together with people, is there a transition that's kind of awkward? Like you're feeling funny about spending a lot of time in person now?
I definitely think that it's still like scary when you're like out with people because there's no like vaccine. But I think it's nice to be like with your friends and family after not seeing them for months. But I definitely try to like distance and keep like make sure I don't go out like every day during the week and try to maintain like 2 to 3 days.
I think it's so weird and so awkward. I see my friends, I see my family, and although I know I haven't seen anyone in so long and there should be so much to talk about, I find myself, I'm like walking to the corner, like going to the stand alone. I feel like a big part of this entire quarantine has been finding ourselves using social media and Zoom and everything like that, that it's like we're losing touch with in-person capabilities. I'm unable to like talk to someone like I used to without like a little awkwardness in the beginning. And it's a big adaptation that we're gonna have to make when life goes back to normal again, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree with what Liv said. Like being in a corner, sort of, it's hard to social distance when you're with your friends, as it's just like you want to like be closer to them. It's a natural thing. It's also really difficult finding activities to do right now because, of course, we have to stay outside, but sometimes the weather is not on your side. So it's very difficult right now.
Yes, I definitely agree. And some people are being more careful than others. And I think it's important for kids, especially our age, to have social interaction in a safe way. And that is hard to have, especially when you don't know who's doing what necessarily. And I think it's important to find those maybe few people that are being safe and kind of just hang out with them. But you really never know. And that's what's scary about being with people right now. Even though you want it so bad because we crave social interaction, it's definitely difficult.
Yeah, I agree with all y'all. Like it's like weird to see your friends and your family in person because like yeah, you have like banter that you had before the whole pandemic spread about and stuff like that, but it's also like you can't like hug them necessarily, or like if you want to, you kind of have to like do like like kind of like a half hug or whatever. Like I have to shake my friend's hand with like my elbow and stuff like that, and yeah, it can like be like kind of awkward at first, but I feel like in times like these you kind of just have to learn to go along with it, and then like maybe create like new fun ways to hang out with your friends. Like I don't FaceTime and Zoom and Google Meets is always like that sort of thing where it like helps to see your friends or your family and stuff like that.
So if the sitting, like the sitting in like a socially distanced way is kind of awkward, has anybody found an activity or something to do with your friends that it just really worked?
An activity that my friends and I do like almost like weekly are like picnics. We like to just like make like cheese boards and just like have games like distantly, and we would just like walk around like in nature.
So me and a couple of my friends actually spent the entire time over quarantine social distanced. We were literally at home doing nothing with no one besides like obviously school and stuff. But so we basically like at this point we're like social distancing together kind of. So like we're always together and we don't see like other people. So we spend a lot of time at the beach, which is fun, down the shore. Which kind of just it like brightens the mood, at least that we know that we can be together and not be like spreading anything or causing anyone else
So
harm.
you kind of created your own pod with those friends?
Yeah, we're quarantining together at this point.
Yeah.
One activity I did with some of my friends is we went paddle boarding. So it's hard to, I mean, it's easier to social distance because we're obviously in boards. So it was a fun activity, definitely getting in the water when it was a hot day. So.
My friends and I, our friend group, we're all runners, so we actually get together and we run together. We don't go near each other, but I think that's definitely a fun way because we all bond over running and it's outside and we don't have to go near each other that much. So that's a nice way to hang out too.
Yeah, I love going to like the beach with like my family, friends, and stuff. And I used to live in Virginia actually, and I have like friends there. And Virginia is kind of like a very like country, rural, suburban area, and so like we're always like kind of like going out to like the park or whatever. And like as for my friends in New York, since like it's kind of weird going to school in New York because like people go to school in New York but they don't live in New York, right? And so like we do stuff like FaceTime, we like house party each other, we watch movies, play video games, stuff like that.
Okay, so you kind of have all touched on this, but while you were like the time you're spending alone, have you found creative ways, creative things to do that are kind of making this a little more bearable for you?
I found like a passion for photography, and like I like model like as a hobby, and one of the things I've done is like do FaceTime photo shoots. So you have to be really creative with a photographer because they just guide and direct you like where to put the camera and find like creative places that you could shoot at home. So it's just been really fun like finding like artistic ways to do like photo shoots.
Me and my friend actually started our own small business throughout quarantine. So we basically, I used to just use the app, like the actual app Photoshop on my laptop, just to make like collages and stuff. I started making them a lot for different friends and they would send me pictures just to make for them. And so I started doing a ton of those during quarantine. And then I kept saying, oh, I want to start a business. I want to start a business. And one of my friends was like, how about we do like art? We can do your like collages, we could make phone cases, trays, and then we could do sweatshirts as well. So we ended up just starting by ordering a couple sweatshirts. We posted them. We did like our first post was a giveaway. We gained a platform on Instagram, and from there now we're just selling a bunch of sweatshirts, trays, cases, sweatpants, all that kind
So
of stuff.
tell us where someone can go to find one of your items.
So our business is called L Squared the Label, and on Instagram it is L2 the Label, and we're working on building our website right now.
Cool.
Yeah, your sweatshirts are good. I have one.
So during the quarantine, I definitely went into cooking. So my whole family, we've been there for 3 meals. So definitely looking at different ingredients that are available in the house, looking at what's going bad, what we can utilize, and making a creative dish out of it and trying different cuisines.
That's cool. Yeah, I was into baking too, not cooking, but this summer I mentioned previously that I helped build a company called Quarantine Tutors. And once school ended, well, before that we were tutoring young children and then for free. And then when summer came, we didn't know what to do because nobody really wanted to be tutored in the summer. And so we actually started doing classes. So I teach an arts and crafts class every Friday, and that definitely takes a lot of my time up. So I think that has been helping me get through.
Okay, how does someone find those?
Well, we have a website called quarantinetutors.com. I think it's .com, but you'll find it. And we're going to continue doing tutoring when school starts, of course.
Great.
Well, I've been doing a lot. I've been doing the absolute most. Like I said before, I have like a bunch of instruments. I got a guitar, a bass, a ukulele. I got a mic that like all types of like music stuff. I'm always doing like music and singing and stuff. And I found that like my self tapes like in doing acting stuff as well is like really fun. Usually it's a bit of like a hassle because you have to like get everything together and like make sure everything's right, but like it's fun to also keep the acting going as well as like dancing and stuff like that, doing like online classes of dancing. And I've also been writing a lot, which is an interesting turn of events. Like I've been writing like little stories and stuff, ideas, things that I might want to put into the future. I don't know. You never know.
So just give me a thumbs up if you feel like you can be more creative because you don't have to be perfect right now. Is it giving you like license to try more things?
Yes, definitely.
That's cool. Because of the way you were describing your stuff, it sounds like you might have spent a lot more time worrying about having everything be absolutely perfect before you did it, but you just went and you did it.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, this is a harder question. We'll see how it goes. What did you learn about yourself during this quarantine time?
I learned to appreciate like the little things in life, and because I feel like when we were like the pre-quarantine, everything was just so busy, you're always on the go, and like during like now it's just slowed down, and you learn to be more patient with yourself and just appreciate like your friends and family and just not take everything for granted.
I definitely agree with that. But I really learned how much I hate change. In the beginning of quarantine, I was having like a really difficult time, and I would be like talking to my friends. I was like, I don't know what's wrong with myself. And they'd be like one day, one of them was just like, Liv, like, there's nothing wrong with you. You just hate what's going on. And like, I realized that like, I didn't have a routine. Nothing was going how I thought it would. Nothing was going perfect. And I was having a hard time dealing with that. But like, knowing that that's what was wrong. That's what like the problem was, that I really hate change. Like, that really helped me out, like figure out that nothing was really wrong. There's just so much going on that I didn't expect. So really that helped me a lot, and I've been learning.
Great.
I learned more about what I like and what I dislike, the hobbies that I like. I feel like during this school year, I was really packed, just doing whatever I could. But now I really understand what I don't like and what I may want to do in the future.
Well, I definitely agree with everybody, especially Liv. Change has definitely been difficult for me too, and I've learned that I have more anxiety than I thought that I had, and I've been trying to cope with that in different ways, such as running. But what I really learned about myself, I don't know, I don't need it as, like, you really learn who your friends are in times like these, because the people that are going out there not really caring about who they get sick or anything, like, I'm not somebody that wants to go out and get other people sick. And I think that I learned who really means a lot to me, and that maybe I don't need so many people. Maybe I just need 3 or 4 good friends. And I would definitely need those relationships. And those also help me cope with the anxiety that I learned that I had.
I learned that I kind of been holding back my creativity. Like I'm much more creative than I thought, I guess, because the show industry is just so cutthroat, and so when not only are you coming up with your own ideas, there are other people who are coming up with the same ideas, or who are opposing your ideas big time, and they're like, oh, that's kind of weird, like, what are you doing? And it's kind of hard, but while I've kind of been stuck in my apartment and stuff like that, I've been learning that when I get in the zone, I get in the zone. I was writing and stuff. I wrote a bunch of chapters in a day, and I was clean. And it was great. It was yeah, I feel like I've just learned that creativity kind of flourishes in times like these, when you're stuck by yourself and you only have yourself, and people who support you, your creativity just flourishes.
Okay, I have one more round of questions, but I just want to tell you, I felt tears welling every time you guys were talking, because this has impacted you so deeply, and it's going to be this moment in time that you look back on as transformative, both in good and bad ways. And I can't believe what a gift it is to get to talk to you all. So thank you. Thanks for being willing to be on here. And here's what I want to ask you, just for something light and fun to end on. So tell me, if you're binging a show, what show it is, and if you're reading a book, which book is it?
One show that I've binged is Ozark, and also Outer Banks. And I also like manifestation books, self-help books. So I've been reading this book called The Power of Now, and it's really nice. It has positive affirmations and really just motivates you on how to live a fulfilling life.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having us on today. But I'm not even gonna lie, I haven't been watching a lot of TV, I want to say. A lot of the time I spend just making sweatshirts, obviously, like we talked about before, doing different arts and crafts, making collages and stuff like that. Um, I'm doing a ton of SAT prep, like AP Spanish tests, and I have summer books, and I'm doing right now I'm not really reading it, but I have a art book. I think it's called the 365 Days of Art or something, and I'm doing those once a day, a little art activity. Right.
I definitely agree with Outer Banks. I've been binging that too. Grey's Anatomy is another one. For books, I read The Hunger Games. It's a really good book. Definitely has different aspects that you might like.
Well, for a show, I'm not really watching a show, but I will admit I can't stop watching Hamilton on Disney Plus. Definitely obsessed. But the book that I'm reading is The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, And I love this book. I had no idea even who Henrietta Lacks was, and it is so educating and such an amazing book, and I really suggest it to everybody.
Sis really called me out with that Hamilton line. I was like, oh. But I like recently watched Umbrella Academy, and it was really good. I'm like rewatching it again because it's great. And I really enjoy like fantasy books, like such as like right now I'm reading like Children of Blood and Bone. I'm like reading the entire Game of Thrones series, which is fun. And also like there's this like business book that I've been enjoying recently. It's called Think and Grow Rich for Women. There was like an original one that was like written mostly for men, and I was like, nah fam, that's not it. And so like my dad got me like the women version, and I was like, yes.
You guys are so awesome. This was such a treat. Thanks so much for spending a little bit of time with us and letting parents of teenagers hear all of your deep and profound thoughts. And good luck to you guys. Thank you.